What I have here today to review is a double burner stove from NatureHike. Initially, I reviewed this a year ago, and let me tell you all this. A lot has changed since then. A year ago, I spoke of how much I liked this stove, but there was a problem. You couldn't find it in the United States. You had to order it from AliExpress. Some people are not bothered by ordering from AliExpress, and some people are. I do understand both perspectives. Because of that, before I filmed the video that I put out a year ago, I contacted NatureHike and I asked them, is there any chance this stove would come out to the United States? Would it be released on the US market? They told me that it would not be because of some sort of patent dispute, something like that. 1 year later, and the stove is now on the US market. What has changed? I have no idea. Ultimately though, this is an awesome stove, and the value of this is incredible. And now that it's available for the US market, this is a major go. There are a number of stoves that are available in the United States that feature double burners, but get this, they cost like $300. There are some exceptions though, but a lot of them, they're expensive. Namely, the Jetboil Genesis. That's the double burner stove that comes to mind for most people. That stove is $300. This here is substantially less expensive. To start off with the double burner stove, I need to say this. This storage bag is not included. If you want this, you have to purchase it separately. I'll talk more about this in just a second. Here we have the stove. Now watch this. As I mentioned, this is a double burner stove. If you happen to purchase this stove, you get the stove itself, you get the 2 burner plates, you get the fuel hose, and you also get a grill plate. I do not have the grill plate with me because I threw it away. I used it one time and it made such a mess. I was like, you know what? I'm never going to use this again. I'll use a frying pan. It definitely did a good job of doing what it was designed to do, but again, it just made such a mess. I have no interest in using it, so I chucked it. To go over the features of this stove, we have 2 burner heads, 2 burner plates, and these are reversible, so that when you fold this up, you can do so. This stove will not fold up if these are in the upward position. We have a grab handle over here. We have the lock on the sides. Here we have the fuel hose. Here's the attachment point for the fuel canister. We have the on-off valve. And over on this side, we have the valves that control each of the burner heads, and we have electric igniters. On the bottom, on both sides, you have rubber feet to securely plant this to your table. Now that we've gone over this stove, let's go over some stats real quick, and while doing so, I will show you all some footage of the stove being used. So right off the bat, this is a double burner stove. Each burner offers 7,900 BTUs. This runs on isobutane only. And when it comes to the materials, you're looking at aluminum, iron, stainless steel, and cold rolled plate. The weight of the stove is 4.7 pounds. If you want to throw in the canvas storage bag, it's 5.3. When the stove is folded, it is 10.5 inches long, 8.5 inches wide, and it's roughly 5 inches thick. When the stove is opened up, it is 21 inches long, 8.5 inches wide, and it's 3 inches thick. When I purchased this stove from AliExpress a year ago, it was roughly $120 to get it shipped to the US. How much this cost on AliExpress at the time of filming, I have no idea. I didn't check. On Amazon, this is going for only $100. It looks like it's a sale of some sort, so I don't know how long that's going to last. With that being said, at the time of filming, this is $100 on Amazon, and it looks like the retail price is $140. A year ago, when I filmed my initial review, I stated that it was my hope that I could find some sort of case for this stove. Luckily, a viewer, they purchased the stove and they found a case. And that's the case that you saw in the beginning of this episode. This really is a high quality polyester canvas case, and it fits this stove perfectly. And get this, it's only 17 bucks. Even if I didn't have that stove, I would buy one of these just to keep gear in. That's actually a really good idea because this is a great case. I may actually purchase a few more of these just for additional gear and components. Anyways, when it comes to this case, it fits the stove perfectly, but it is just a little bit tight. And that's because this was designed for a different NatureHike stove and also a fuel canister. With this double burner stove, it fits in there perfectly, but again, it is a little bit tight, but it's no big deal. And in my opinion, it is completely worth it. Now I tell you what everyone, before I move on to my pros and cons, let's do a quick boil test with 2 cups of water. With that boil test, we brought 2 cups of water to a boil, and it took 4 minutes and 24 seconds. The reason why I did this boil test is to show you all that this stove is not a rocket. You have to keep in mind with these burner heads, they only offer 7,900 BTUs each, which isn't a lot, but it's more than enough to boil water and of course to cook. With that out of the way, let's go over my pros and cons that I have for this stove, starting with the pros. So right off the bat, this is a fully functional dual burner stove, and it does everything that you would expect from a stove like this. It performs well. At the same time, the quality of this is very impressive, especially for the money. The fit and finish of this is excellent. There's no rough edges, nothing like that. And over the course of the year that I've been using this product, I've had no issues. The stove itself is extremely well made. It has a good weight to it without it being too heavy. It's well thought out, well designed, and at the same time, it's very stable. In fact, it's rock solid. Once you lay this down and open it up, it's not gonna go anywhere. There's no worries of tipping over your pot, pan, cup, kettle, whatever. I mean, it really is a very stable platform to cook on. As far as the BTUs that this stove offers, it's good, it's not great, but without a doubt, it offers enough power to get done the jobs that you wanna do. If your goal is to boil water as fast as possible, there's better stoves out there, stoves that will cost you 300 bucks. But if your goal is to cook dinner, make a cup of coffee, I mean, this stove is going to do that for you. Without a doubt, the price for this system is a pro, a major pro, especially when you compare this to like the Genesis, for an example. The Genesis is a very nice stove, there's no doubt about it. But I don't know anyone who wants to spend $300 on a stove when you can spend 100 bucks and it basically does the same thing. I will say though, the Genesis looks sick. I love the color combination. It's definitely a cool product. Using the stove is very easy. The adjusters work well. The igniters work well. With the igniters, I wouldn't say they're like the world's best. I would say most of the time it's one click and go, but on a rare occasion, I may have to click it 3, 4, 5 times to get it to ignite. With that being said, I've never had this stove not ignite before. And the reason why that's not a con is because electric igniters are finicky, and it doesn't matter if you spend $100 or $300. They're going to be finicky no matter what. When the stove is stored, the form factor is excellent, and the same can be said once it's opened up. There's plenty of space between the burner heads to do some serious cooking on this, and that means you could put just about any size pot, cup, pan, kettle, whatever you want to on here. This stove here is going to be excellent for car camping, overlanding, and even for emergency and off-grid use. And let's see here, the last pro that I have for this system is looks. It comes in this green and black color. I think it looks very good. Speaking of which, that is the only color this stove is available in. And that takes us over to the cons that I have for this system. The first con is this: no storage case or bag is included with this stove. For 100 bucks, one should be. Luckily, we have this option here, and it's only 17 bucks. That, in my opinion, is very fair. Con number 2 deals with the adjusters for burner number 1 and burner number 2. They are a little finicky. It's easy to turn them all the way up, but when it comes time to really dial it down to like simmer, that can be difficult. It can take quite a bit of like micro adjustments to get it where you want it to be. And that takes us over to the last con that I have for this stove system. There's no windshield built into the stove itself. So if you're using this in a windy environment, you will need to come up with some sort of windshield setup. And that, my friends, wraps up my review. For the money, this is an excellent product that does just about everything right. The cons that it has, they're small, they really don't mean a whole lot. In the end, this is an excellent product. And there's a reason why I use this at my cabin. There's a reason why I use it with my 4Runner when I'm out overlanding. This is an excellent product. It performs well enough. It doesn't take up much space inside of my vehicle. It's easy to set up, easy to use, easy to clean, and it does not cost $300. In my opinion, that's a huge win. Now it's your turn to sound off in the comment section down below. Share your thoughts. What do you all think about this stove? And what do you all think about the NatureHike case here? In my opinion, it goes together with this stove perfectly. And to the viewer who told me about this, thank you so much. Unfortunately, I don't remember your name right off. I'm so sorry, but I do appreciate it. If you have found this episode helpful, hit the thumbs up before you go. I do appreciate it. Also, make sure to check out my second YouTube channel, A Quiet Place Adventures. Every single week, a brand new adventure, just like here on this channel. The exception is with my second YouTube channel, it's only adventures. Everyone, take care, be well, strength and honor. Bye for now.